The desert wind screamed across the endless dunes outside Cairo, Egypt. It was a sound that many people ignored. But the old men who lived near the desert said the wind was not really wind at all. They said it was the voices of the dead. And on one terrible night, those voices would find a man named Mustafa Jain. Mustafa Jain was a 34-year-old historian who worked at a small museum in Cairo. Unlike most people, he loved ancient Egypt. He spent his days studying old scrolls, forgotten tombs, and mysterious artifacts. Many people called him obsessed. Maybe they were right. For years, Mustafa searched for evidence of a lost pharaoh known only in ancient texts as the Sleepless King. According to legend, this king had ruled thousands of years ago. No one knew his real name. No statues remained. No official records survived. Only terrifying stories. Stories that said the king practiced forbidden rituals. Stories that claimed he learned how to keep his soul alive after death. Stories that ended with entire villages disappearing overnight. Most historians considered the stories myths. Mustafa did not. And that belief would soon destroy his life. One rainy evening, Mustafa was working late in the museum. The building was empty. Only the ticking of an old clock echoed through the halls. Suddenly, a security guard entered, carrying a dusty wooden box. "Someone left this outside," the guard said. "There was no name?" The guard shook his head. "No." Mustafa opened the box. Inside was an ancient papyrus scroll. The scroll looked impossibly old. The surface was stained dark brown, almost black, as if it had been soaked in dried blood. A chill crawled through Mustafa's body. Carefully unrolled it. Ancient hieroglyphs covered every inch. At the bottom was a rough map leading deep into the western desert. His heart raced. This was exactly the kind of evidence he had spent years searching for. But something felt wrong, very wrong. Near the center of the scroll was a symbol, a human figure wrapped in mummy bandages. Its eyes were completely black, and although it was only a drawing, Mustafa could have sworn the eyes were staring directly at him. That night, he brought the scroll home. His apartment overlooked the crowded streets of Cairo. Normally, the city was as comforting, but not tonight. The silence felt heavy, oppressive. Around midnight, he finally fell asleep. Then came the dream. He stood alone inside a vast underground chamber. Darkness stretched endlessly around him. Towering stone pillars disappeared into black shadows above. The air smelled of dust and decay. Something moved between the pillars. A figure, tall, thin, wrapped entirely in ancient bandages. Its face was hidden. Slowly it began walking toward him. One step, then another. The sound echoed through the chamber. Thump, thump, thump. Mustafa tried to run. His legs refused to move. The figure came closer, closer, closer. Then its head tilted. The bandages around its face slowly loosened. They unraveled by themselves. Layer after layer fell away. What remained beneath was not human. Its skin was black and cracked. Its mouth stretched impossibly wide. Thousands of insects crawled inside its throat. Then the creature spoke. Its voice sounded like hundreds of dead people whispering together. "You have found me." Mustafa woke screaming. The clock beside his bed read 3:33 a.m. His entire body was soaked in sweat. His heart hammered in his chest. Then he noticed something impossible. Sand. A small pile of desert sand lay on his bedroom floor. Mustafa stared. His windows were closed. His doors were locked. There was no way sand could be inside. Suddenly, scratch. He froze. The sound came from outside his bedroom. Scratch. 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 Something was dragging itself across the apartment floor. Slowly, patiently, moving toward him. Mustafa grabbed a flashlight. His hands trembled. The scratching stopped. The apartment became silent. He stepped into the hallway. Nothing. The living room was empty. The kitchen was empty. Every room was empty. Yet fresh trails of sand covered the floor. Long trails. As if someone wrapped in bandages crawled through the apartment. The next morning, Mustafa convinced himself of his stress. Nothing more. Nightmare. Overactive imagination. So he focused on the map. Over the next week, he studied every detail. Eventually, he found a location far beyond the tourist routes, deep in an unexplored region of desert. The map appeared to lead to a forgotten burial site, a place never officially documented, a place that should not exist. Excitement replaced fear. This discovery could make him famous. It could change history. So he organized a small expedition. 3 people agreed to join him. A local guide named Hassan, an archaeologist named Layla, and a photographer named Karim. Together they would follow the map. Together they would uncover the mystery. None of them knew they were walking toward a nightmare older than civilization itself. Desert. The sun burned above them. Golden dunes stretched forever. For 2 days, everything seemed normal. Then strange things began happening. On the 3rd night, Hassan disappeared. One moment he sat beside the campfire. The next moment, he was gone. No screams, no footprints, nothing. The only thing left behind was a patch of black sand. A terrible smell. The smell of a corpse buried for thousands of years. The group searched until sunrise. No sign of Hassan. Finally they continued, fear growing with every mile. By sunset they reached a massive canyon hidden between cliffs. The map ended there. At the canyon's center stood an enormous stone doorway half buried beneath the sand. Ancient symbols covered its surface. The largest symbol was the same one from the scroll. The black-eyed mummy. Mustafa felt his stomach tighten. Layla stared at the doorway. I don't like this place. Neither did Mustafa. Yet he couldn't stop. Something was pulling him forward. Almost as if the tomb wanted him to enter. As if something inside had been waiting for him for a very long time. The group cleared away enough sand to open the entrance. A blast of freezing air escaped from the darkness. The air smelled ancient, dead, wrong. Karim shined his flashlight inside. The beam vanished into endless blackness. Then everyone heard it. A distant sound from deep within the tomb. Not wind, not animals. A voice, whispering, soft, faint, ancient. And somehow the voice spoke Mustafa's name. Mustafa. The group stared at one another. Nobody moved. The whisper came again. A little louder this time. Mustafa. And the darkness inside the tomb moved. Something shifted far below. Something huge. Something that should have remained buried forever. Deep within the black void, 2 glowing eyes slowly opened. Part 2. Eyes beneath the tomb. The glowing eyes stared into the darkness. Nobody moved. For several seconds, the entire world seemed frozen. Only the desert wind whispered across the canyon behind them. Then the eyes vanished. Just like that. Gone. As if they had never existed. Karim swallowed hard. I saw them. Layla nodded. So did I. Mustafa felt ice running through his veins. Every instinct screamed at him to leave, to run, to forget the tomb ever existed. But curiosity was stronger than fear, and curiosity has killed many people. The 4 explorers entered the tomb. Their flashlights cut through the darkness. The corridor descended deep beneath the earth. Ancient carvings covered the walls. At first, they appeared normal. Scenes of priests, pharaohs, sacred rituals. But as they continued deeper, the carvings became disturbing, very disturbing. The priests were no longer worshipping gods. Instead, they knelt before a giant mummy seated upon a throne. Its eyes were painted completely black. Thousands of people bowed before it. Others offered children as sacrifices. And in one horrifying image, the mummy appeared to be eating human hearts. Layla stared at the carvings. I've never seen anything like this. Neither had Mustafa. The images didn't match any known Egyptian dynasty. It was as though history itself had erased this king. Perhaps there had been a reason. After nearly an hour of walking, they reached a massive underground chamber. The ceiling vanished into darkness. Stone pillars surrounded them like a forest. The floor was covered in ancient bones. Thousands of them. Human bones, animal bones. Some looked centuries old. Others appeared strangely fresh. Kareem lifted his camera. The flash illuminated the chamber. Click. The photograph developed instantly on the camera screen. Everyone looked. Then Kareem's face turned white. What is that? Mustafa grabbed the camera. His blood froze. Standing behind them in the photograph was a tall figure wrapped in blackened bandages. Nobody had seen it when the picture was taken, but it was there, watching, waiting, its face hidden, its eyes glowing faintly. Suddenly, thump, a deep sound echoed through the chamber. The ground trembled. Thump, again, like a giant footstep. Something was moving somewhere below them. Something enormous. The sound continued. Thump, 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 closer each time. Mustafa shined his flashlight around the chamber. Nothing. No movement. No creature. Yet the footsteps continued. Then they stopped. The silence returned. A horrible silence. The kind that feels alive. They discovered another corridor leading deeper underground. The walls here were covered with strange symbols. Symbols even Mustafa couldn't translate. Some looked like human faces twisted in agony. Others resembled insects crawling from open mouths. The deeper they went, the colder the air became. Soon their breath became visible, which made no sense. Yet down here it felt like winter. Then Layla stopped, suddenly. Do you hear that? Everyone listened. At first, there was nothing. Then they heard it. Whispers. Hundreds of whispers. Coming from inside the walls. The voices sounded ancient, broken, painful. As if thousands of dead souls were trapped within the stone. The whispers grew louder. Soon individual words emerged. Leave. Leave before he sees you. Run. Leave before he sees you. Kareem nearly dropped his flashlight. I don't want to be here anymore. Nobody argued. But before they could turn back, the whispers stopped. Instantly. A low growl echoed through the corridor. Not human. Not animal. Something else. Something older. The sound seemed to come from everywhere at once. Then Mustafa noticed movement. Out of the corner of his eye, a shadow crossing the wall. Tall, wrapped in bandages. He spun around. Nothing. Yet fresh sand now covered the floor behind them. Black sand. The same black sand that had appeared in Hassan's campsite. And in Mustafa's apartment. Hours later they reached a stone door. Unlike the others, this one was sealed. A golden symbol decorated its center. Eyes surrounded by slits. Beneath it were ancient words. Mustafa translated them slowly. The warning made his stomach twist. Here sleeps the sleepless king. Disturb not his flesh. Disturb not his dreams. For his eyes remain open in death. Silence filled the corridor. Layla looked terrified. We need to leave. Mustafa agreed. For the first time, the tomb felt wrong. Not mysterious, not exciting, raw, like a wound in reality. Before anyone could move, the stone door became opened by itself. Deep grinding waves echoed through the slowly moved, revealing a vast chamber. Lights swept across the room. Everyone gasped. The treasure inside was unimaginable. Gold statues, jeweled crowns, ancient weapons, mountains of priceless artifacts. Enough wealth to make them famous forever. But none of them cared about the treasure, because at the center of the chamber stood a giant black sarcophagus, nearly 15 feet tall. Its surface was covered in chains, thousands of chains, as if whoever built this place wanted to ensure something never escaped. Then they noticed the chains. Many had snapped. Recently, some lay broken on the floor. Others still hung from the sarcophagus, swinging gently, as though they had been disturbed moments ago. A horrible realization struck Mustafa. The chains were not meant to keep people out. They were meant to keep something in. Karim slowly raised his camera. Click! The flash illuminated the room. For a split second, they saw something standing behind the sarcophagus. A towering figure, wrapped in filthy ancient bandages. Its head nearly touched the ceiling. Its eyes glowed like burning coals. Then the darkness returned. The figure disappeared. Karim lowered the camera. His hands shook violently. "Tell me you saw that." Nobody answered, because everyone had seen it. Then a loud crack echoed through the chamber. One of the remaining chains snapped. Another followed. Then another. Clang, clang, clang. The sounds exploded through the tomb. The sarcophagus began trembling. Dust rained from above. The floor vibrated beneath their feet. Something inside was moving. Something alive. Something furious. A deep voice suddenly filled the chamber. The voice was impossible, ancient, rotting, inhuman, and it spoke perfect Arabic. "Who has awakened?" The explorers froze. The voice came again, much louder. "Who has brought me back to the world of the living?" Then the lid of the giant sarcophagus slowly began sliding open. From the darkness inside, a bandaged hand emerged. Its fingers were black, its nails were impossibly long. And around its wrist hung a chain made from human teeth. The sleepless king was awakened, and the nightmare had only just begun. Part 3. The Awakening of the Sleepless King. The bandaged hand ripped the edge of the sarcophagus. Dust rained from the ceiling. Ancient chains snapped, one after another. Clang, clang, clang. The entire chamber shook. Mustafa could not move. His mind screamed. Terror rooted into the ground. The black hand slowly tightened. Then something inside the sarcophagus began pulling itself upward. A horrible scraping sound echoed through the tomb, like dry bones dragging across stone. The creature rose, slowly, painfully, as if awakening from a sleep that had lasted thousands of years. First came its head, then its shoulders, then its towering body. The sleepless king stood before them. He was over 9 feet tall. Ancient bandages covered his body, but many had rotted away. Beneath them was blackened flesh, dry as leather, cracked like ancient stone. Thousands of strange symbols had been carved directly into his skin. His eyes glowed with a sickly golden light. His mouth never closed. It hung permanently open, revealing rows of needle-like teeth. Not human teeth, something far worse. Nobody spoke. Nobody dared breathe. The mummy's glowing eyes slowly moved across the chamber, examining each explorer, studying them, judging them. Then its gaze stopped on Mustafa. The creature tilted its head, almost like it recognized him. The golden eyes narrowed, and suddenly the mummy smiled. A terrible smile. A smile that no dead thing should ever make. Mustafa J. The voice echoed through the chamber. The explorer nearly collapsed. The creature knew his name. How? how could a thing buried for thousands of years know his name? The mummy took one slow step forward. Thump. The ground trembled. Another step. Thump. A crack appeared in the stone floor. Then the creature spoke again. I have waited for you. Before anyone could react, Kareem screamed and ran. He sprinted toward the exit. His flashlight bounced wildly as he disappeared into the darkness. Kareem! Layla shouted. But it was too late. The photographer was gone. The mummy watched him leave, then slowly raised one finger. A whisper escaped his mouth, a language older than history. The chamber suddenly became silent, unnaturally silent. No footsteps, no breathing, nothing. Then a distant scream echoed through the corridors. Kareem's scream. It lasted only a few seconds, and then it stopped, abruptly, as if something had ripped the sound from his throat. The silence that followed was even worse, because everyone knew Kareem was dead. The mummy lowered its head, and then it looked back at Mustafa, almost amused, almost pleased, as if it enjoyed their fear. The creature opened its mouth wider, far wider than humanly possible, and thousands of black scarabs began crawling out. Beetles poured from its throat, its eyes, its ears. The insects flooded onto the floor, millions of tiny legs clicking across stone. The explorers backed away in horror. The scarabs swarmed around the chamber, covering walls, pillars, bones, everything. Layla grabbed Mustafa's arm. We have to leave, now. For once, Mustafa agreed. The treasure no longer mattered. History no longer mattered. Only survival mattered. The two survivors turned and ran. Behind them they heard the mummy laughing. A deep, rotten laugh. The laughter of something that had not felt joy in thousands of years. They raced through the corridors, past ancient carvings, past forgotten chambers, past piles of bones. The tomb seemed different now. The walls were changing. The symbols appeared to move. Faces emerged from the stone. Human faces. Dozens of them. Hundreds. Their mouths opened silently. Their eyes filled with terror, as if trapped inside the walls forever. Then Mustafa heard a voice, a familiar voice. Help me. He froze. The voice belonged to Hassan, the guide who had disappeared. Mustafa. The sound came from a nearby chamber. Layla grabbed him. No, but that's Hassan. No, she whispered. He wants us to think it's Hassan. The voice came again, louder, more desperate. Please, help me. Mustafa's heart pounded. It sounded exactly like Hassan. Every detail, every emotion, every word. Yet something felt wrong. Very wrong. Suddenly, the voice changed. The desperation vanished. The pleading disappeared. A deep growl replaced it. Found it. A massive shape lunged from the darkness. Mustafa barely dodged. The creature slammed into the wall beside him. He turned his flashlight toward it and screamed. Once been Hassan. Once. Now it was something else. His body was twisted, his bones bent at impossible angles. Ancient bandages grew from his flesh like living vines. Black insects crawled in his eyes. His mouth stretched from ear to ear. Far too wide. Far too wide. The creature charged again. Layla fired a flare gun. The burning flare struck Hassan's chest. Instantly, he burst into flames. The monster shrieked. A horrible, inhuman sound. The fire consumed him. Within seconds, only ashes remained. Mustafa stared in disbelief. The thing wearing Hassan's body was gone. But deep down, he knew the real Hassan had died days ago. The pair continued running. The corridors twisted endlessly. It felt impossible to find the exit. The tomb itself seemed alive, changing, rearranging, trapping them. Then they reached a chamber neither remembered passing before. At its center stood a massive stone basin, filled with black liquid. The surface reflected their flashlights, but something was wrong. Their movements. Mustafa looked closer. His reflection smiled. He wasn't smiling. The reflection slowly raised its hand. Mustafa hadn't moved. Then the reflection whispered, "He's inside you already." The black liquid exploded. Hands erupted from the basin. Dozens of pale human hands. They grabbed Mustafa's legs, his arms, his clothes, trying to drag him into the darkness below. Layla pulled him back. The hands snapped and clawed at the air. Screaming voices emerged from the basin. Thousands of voices, all begging, all crying, all trapped. The pair escaped just before the chamber collapsed behind them. Stone crashed down, sealing the room forever. Or so they hoped. After what felt like hours, they finally reached the upper tunnels. Moonlight appeared ahead. The exit. They were almost free. Almost. Then Mustafa noticed something. Fresh footprints in the sand. Huge footprints. Wrapped bandage footprints. Leading out of the tomb. Not into it. Out. His blood turned cold. The mummy had already left, before they even escaped. The sleepless king was no longer trapped underground. He was free. Free beneath the night sky of Egypt. Free to walk among the living. Free to hunt. Then a shadow appeared at the mouth of the tomb. A giant silhouette standing beneath the moon. Watching them. Waiting. Its golden eyes burned in the darkness. And around its feet stood dozens of figures. Human figures. Wrapped in ancient bandages, an army of mummies, all staring directly at Mustafa J. The sleepless king slowly raised one arm, pointed at him. Then, in a voice that shook the desert itself, he spoke, "Bring him to me, the cursed mummy of Cairo." Part 4, the Army of the Dead. The army moved as one. Hundreds of wrapped figures stepped forward beneath the moonlit sky. Their movements were slow, jerky, unnatural, like puppets being controlled by invisible strings. Sand swirled around their feet. The sleepless king stood behind them, towering over his undead servants. His glowing eyes never left Mustafa Jane, not for a single second. "Run!" Layla screamed. Mustafa didn't need to be told twice. The two survivors sprinted out of the canyon. Behind them came the sound of countless footsteps. Thump, thump, thump. The dead were following, and they were getting closer. For nearly an hour they ran through the desert. The moon hung overhead like a pale eye. The cold night air burned their lungs. Eventually they reached their abandoned camp. Their jeep was still there. Mustafa jumped into the driver's seat. Layla climbed beside him. The engine roared to life. For a moment, hope returned. Then the headlights illuminated something standing ahead. A mummy. Then another. Then another. Dozens of them, blocking the path. Silent. Waiting. The jeep accelerated. The creatures didn't move. They simply stood there, watching. Mustafa slammed the accelerator harder. The vehicle crashed through the first mummy. Its body shattered like dry wood. Bandages exploded into the air, but the others kept coming. The jeep smashed through several more before finally breaking free. Soon, the desert swallowed the nightmare behind them, at least for a while. Hours later, they reached the outskirts of Cairo. The city lights appeared ahead. Civilization, safety, people. Mustafa felt relief for the first time since entering the tomb. Surely the creature couldn't follow him here. Surely it would remain in the desert. Surely. His phone suddenly rang. Both he and Layla jumped. The screen displayed an unknown number. With trembling hands, Mustafa answered. "Hello?" For several seconds there was only static. Then a deep voice emerged. A voice he recognized immediately. The sleepless king. I am coming. The line went dead. Mustafa nearly dropped the phone. How could that thing call him? How? It made no sense. Nothing about this nightmare made sense anymore. The next morning, news spread across Cairo. People were disappearing. First, only a few. A homeless man, a shop owner, a taxi driver. Then, dozens. Witnesses described strange figures wandering the streets at night. Tall figures wrapped in ancient cloth, their eyes glowing in the darkness. Authorities dismissed the reports, but Mustafa knew the truth. The army of the dead had entered Cairo. For 3 days, Mustafa and Layla hid inside an old apartment building. They covered the windows, locked every door, barely slept, yet something felt wrong. Every night, Mustafa heard whispers, whispers coming from inside the walls, the same voices from the tomb, the same trapped souls. Every night, they repeated the same warning. He sees you. He knows where you are. Run. On the 4th night, Mustafa awoke suddenly. Something was standing outside his bedroom door. He could see its shadow beneath the crack, tall, motionless, watching. Mustafa held his breath. The shadow remained. Minutes passed. Then came a slow knock. 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 The sound echoed through the apartment. Layla woke immediately. Did you hear that? Mustafa nodded. Another knock. Slower this time. Knock. 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 Then a voice. A familiar voice. His mother's voice. Open the door. His blood froze. His mother had died 5 years ago. The voice came again. Perfect. Identical. Mustafa, please let me in. Tears filled his eyes. The voice sounded exactly like her. Every detail, every emotion, every memory. But he knew it wasn't real. He knew the sleepless king was playing with him, trying to break him, trying to lure him outside. Then the voice changed. It became deeper, rotten, ancient. The mummy's voice. You are learning. Silence followed. The shadow disappeared. When Mustafa finally opened the door, nobody was there. Only black sand. A trail of it, leading down the hallway. The next day, Layla made a discovery. She had been studying photographs taken inside the tomb. One image caught her attention. A section of wall covered with symbols. After hours of translation, she uncovered a terrifying truth. The sleepless king was not simply a pharaoh. He had once been a powerful sorcerer. Thousands of years ago, he sought immortality, but the ritual failed. Instead of becoming a god, he became something else. Something trapped between life and death. Something that fed on fear and human souls. Worse still, ancient texts revealed a prophecy. A prophecy to Mustafa. The writing spoke of the seeker from the future, the one who opens the tomb, the one whose blood shall complete the awakening. Mustafa stared at the translation. His hands trembled. The prophecy described him. Exactly. Layla looked terrified. You weren't chosen by accident. What do you mean? The scroll, the tomb, the dreams. The mummy wanted you to find him. The realization struck like lightning. The mysterious package, the map, the nightmares, everything had been planned. For years, perhaps centuries, the sleepless king had somehow manipulated events to bring Mustafa to the tomb. He hadn't discovered the mummy. The mummy had discovered him. That night, the city descended into chaos. Emergency sirens echoed through Cairo. Reports flooded social media. Videos showed strange figures walking through empty streets. Entire neighborhoods lost power. People vanished from locked homes. The death toll continued rising, and nobody understood why, except Mustafa. Near midnight, every light in the apartment suddenly went out. Darkness swallowed everything. The air became freezing cold. Layla turned on a flashlight. The beam shook in her trembling hands. Then they heard footsteps. Not outside. Inside. Someone was walking through the apartment. Slow. Heavy. Impossible. Thump. Thump. The footsteps grew closer. 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 Then stopped outside the living room. Silence. A horrible silence. The flashlight flickered. For a split second, it illuminated the doorway. And there he stood, the sleepless king, inside the apartment, watching them. His golden eyes glowed like burning suns, hung in rotten strips. Black scarabs crawled across his body. Behind him stood dozens of undead servants, filling the hallway, blocking every exit. The mummy smiled, that same terrible smile. Then he spoke. The time has come. Mustafa felt his legs beating. What do you want from me? The creature's eyes burned brightly. Its voice echoed through every wall of the building, through every room, through every corner of the darkness. I want my soul back. Then the sleepless king raised one skeleton hand. The floor beneath Mustafa suddenly cracked open, revealing a bottomless pit of darkness. Millions of screaming voices rose toward him. End of Part 4. Page 2. Part 5. The Soul Ritual. The floor shattered beneath Mustafa. The world vanished. He fell into darkness. Endless darkness. The screams of thousands of souls echoed around him. Men, women, children, all crying, all begging, all trapped. The sound was so terrible that Mustafa covered his ears, but it didn't help. The screams weren't entering through his ears. They were inside his mind. As he fell, strange visions flashed before his eyes. Ancient temples, burning cities, sacrifices beneath blood-red moons, a kingdom forgotten by history. And at the center of every vision stood the same figure, the sleepless king. But he looked different. He was alive, human, or at least he had once been. Suddenly Mustafa slammed into solid ground. The impact knocked the air from his lungs. He opened his eyes. The apartment was gone. Cairo was gone. He stood inside an enormous underground temple. A temple older than the pyramids. Black stone pillars stretched endlessly into darkness. Massive braziers burned with green flames, and thousands of mummified bodies lined the walls, watching, waiting. The sleepless king stood before him. His undead servants formed a circle around him. Layla was nowhere to be seen. "Where am I?" Mustafa asked. The mummy slowly approached, in the place where my curse began. Its voice echoed through the temple. This temple existed before the first pharaoh, before Egypt, before recorded history. Page 8. Raised one skeletal hand. Ancient symbols glowed across the floor. A giant circle appeared beneath Mustafa's feet. The symbols pulsed like living things. Then the sleepless king spoke. "You seek truth. Now you shall have it." The temple walls suddenly came alive. Images moved across the stone, like scenes from an ancient film. Mustafa watched, unable to look away. Thousands of years ago, the man who would become the sleepless king had ruled a forgotten civilization. His name had been erased from history, destroyed, hidden, feared. He had been obsessed with one thing, eternal life. He feared death more than anything else, so he searched for forbidden knowledge, dark knowledge, knowledge never meant for humanity. Deep beneath the desert, he discovered something. Not a treasure, not a god, something far older, something sleeping beneath the earth. Ancient force, darkness. The creature offered immortality, in exchange for souls, thousands of souls, perhaps millions. The king agreed, and that decision doomed his civilization. Mustafa watched entire cities vanish. families dragged into darkness, temples filled with sacrifice. The king grew stronger, more powerful, more monstrous, until he was no longer human. Then came the final ritual, the ritual that transformed him into the creature he was now. The king willingly surrendered his humanity. His body died, but his soul remained trapped between life and death, forever hungry, forever incomplete, forever cursed. Vision ended. The temple returned. Mustafa stared at the monster. You destroyed your own people. The mummy's glowing eyes narrowed. They were a necessary sacrifice. Suddenly another voice echoed through the temple. A human voice. Layla's voice. Mustafa! He turned. She was trapped inside a stone cage nearby. Her face was pale, terrified, but alive for now. The sleepless king smiled. You finally understand. What do you want from me? The mummy stepped closer, its golden eyes blazing. You carry what was stolen from me. Mustafa frowned. What are you talking about? The creature pointed at Mustafa's chest. Then the temple shook violently. Ancient symbols ignited across the walls. Green flames erupted everywhere. The air filled with screaming voices. And suddenly, Mustafa remembered something. A memory that wasn't his. A desert, a ritual, a dying priest, a glowing object, a fragment of light. The priest hiding it, protecting it, sending it forward through generations, through bloodlines, through centuries, waiting for the right person. Mustafa staggered backward. The memory vanished. The mummy spoke again. Part of my soul escaped. Thousands of years ago. It was hidden among your ancestors. Mustafa's heart stopped. The truth was impossible, yet somehow he knew it was real. A fragment of the sleepless king's soul had been passed down through countless generations, until eventually. It reached Mustafa. That was why the mummy had known his name, why the scroll found him, why the dreams began, why he had been drawn to the tomb. The sleepless king had spent millennia searching for the missing piece of himself. Mustafa carried it. The creature raised both arms. The ritual circle beneath Mustafa erupted with light. The temple trembled. Cracks spread across the ceiling. The dead along the walls opened their eyes. Thousands of glowing eyes, watching, waiting, hungry. You will return what belongs to me, the mummy's voice thundered. The symbols around Mustafa began spinning. Faster, faster, faster. A burning pain exploded in his chest. He fell to his knees, screaming. It felt as though something was trying to tear itself out of him. Something ancient, something alive. Layla struggled inside the cage. Mustafa, fight it! The pain intensified. The temple blurred. The screaming souls grew louder. The sleepless king laughed. A horrible, triumphant laugh. After thousands of years, victory was finally within his grasp. Then something unexpected happened. A second voice echoed through the temple. A voice unlike any Mustafa had heard before. Ancient, powerful, yet calm. The voice came from inside him, from the hidden soul fragment. Do not surrender. The entire temple shook. The mummy's smile vanished. For the first time, fear appeared in his glowing eyes. Real fear. The voice continued. He does not seek completion. He seeks freedom. If he becomes whole again, the world will suffer as his kingdom suffered. The soul fragment erupted with light. Golden light. Pure light. The darkness recoiled. The undead army screamed. Green flames flickered violently. The sleepless king staggered backward. Mustafa looked down. Golden symbols were appearing across his skin. Symbols identical to those from the ancient vision. But these symbols glowed with a different power. A power opposed to the mummy's curse. The creature roared. A furious roar that shook the entire temple. No, the undead servants fell to their knees. The walls cracked. The ceiling began collapsing. For the first time in thousands of years, the sleepless king was losing control. Then a massive crack split the temple floor. A bottomless abyss opened between Mustafa and the mummy. Darkness poured from the chasm. Ancient, hungry, alive. The same darkness that had corrupted the king long ago. And from deep within that abyss, something enormous began to rise. Something far older than the sleepless king. Something even he feared. The mummy's glowing eyes widened in terror. Mustafa realized the horrifying truth. The sleepless king was never the true leader. He had only been a servant. From the abyss came a voice so ancient that reality itself seemed to tremble. It spoke only three words. I am awake. Part 6. The Ancient Darkness. Final part. The words echoed through the temple. I am awake. The voice was not loud, yet it shook the entire world. The pillars cracked. The walls split apart. Thousands of mummies screamed at once. And deep beneath the earth, something ancient began to rise. Mustafa stared into the abyss. At first he saw nothing. Only darkness. Pure darkness. A darkness so complete it seemed to swallow light itself. Then two enormous eyes opened, far below. Eyes larger than houses. Eyes older than human civilization. The sight nearly shattered Mustafa's sanity. His mind struggled to understand what he was seeing. The creature was simply too ancient, too vast, too long. Even the sleepless king backed away. Fear filled his glowing eyes. Real fear. The fear of a servant who had accidentally awakened his master. For thousands of years, he had believed he could control the darkness. Use it. Bargain with it. Become greater than it. Now he finally understood the truth. He had never been its master. He had always been its prisoner. The abyss widened. The temple trembled violently. Massive chunks of stone crashed from the ceiling. The undead army panicked. Many fell into the darkness below. Their screams echoed for only seconds before being swallowed completely. The ancient voice spoke again. This time every soul in the temple heard it. Not through their ears, inside their minds, inside their memories, inside their nightmares. Suddenly, black tendrils erupted from the abyss. Hundreds of them. Thousands. They shot across the temple like giant serpents. One wrapped around the sleepless king's arm, another around his neck, another around his chest. The mummy roared with fury. He fought desperately, but he could not escape. You belong to me, the darkness spoke. The temple shook harder. The sleepless king's bandages began unraveling. Layer after layer, curse after curse. His ancient body cracked apart. The monster that had terrorized humanity from millennia screamed in terror. Mustafa watched in disbelief. The being that had seemed unstoppable. The being that had commanded armies of the dead. The being that had haunted his dreams was helpless. Completely helpless. Then something unexpected. The sleepless king looked directly at Mustafa. Hatred was gone. The arrogance was gone. Only fear remained. And regret. The creature's voice was weakening. Almost human. Listen carefully. The explorer froze. The mummy pointed toward the abyss. That thing must never enter your world. The darkness roared. The sound shattered entire sections of the temple. The sleepless king continued. I was a fool. I believed I could control it. I was wrong. The black tendrils tightened around him. His body began breaking apart. Ancient dust poured from his skin. The end had come. Then Mustafa understood. The sleepless king had never been the final villain. He had been the warning, the consequence. A man destroyed by his own ambition. A man who sacrificed everything for power and lost his soul. The golden light inside Mustafa suddenly grew stronger. The hidden soul fragment pulsed. The ancient voice from within him returned. The gate can still be closed. How? Mustafa shouted. The answer came immediately. A sacrifice. Mustafa looked toward Layla, still trapped inside the stone cage, terrified, waiting, hoping. Then he looked toward the abyss, toward the darkness, toward the thing awakening beneath Cairo. He understood. Someone would have to remain behind. Someone would have to seal the gate forever. The realization hit him like a knife. It had always been him. The scroll, the dreams, the prophecy, everything had led to this moment. Layla seemed to understand too. Her eyes filled with tears. Mustafa smiled sadly. For the first time in weeks, he felt calm. Truly calm. The temple continued collapsing. The darkness rose higher. Massive claws emerged from the abyss, each larger than a building. The world above would not survive if it escaped. Mustafa stepped toward the ritual circle. Golden symbols ignited across the floor. The hidden soul fragment blazed like a miniature sign. The darkness screamed. It understood what he intended. No. The ancient voice shook reality. The abyss erupted. The creature surged upward, trying to stop him, trying to escape. But Mustafa continued forward. One step, then another, then another. The golden light consumed the temple, consumed the undead armor, consumed the sleepless king, consumed everything. The mummy looked at Mustafa one final time, then slowly lowered his head, almost like a bow. A final acknowledgement, a final apology. The darkness attacked. Mustafa raised his hands. The soul fragment exploded. A wave of golden energy swept across the abyss. The temple vanished in light. The screams of the dead vanished. The shadows vanished. Everything vanished. Silence. 3 days later, rescue teams searched a collapsed section of desert outside Cairo. The strange earthquakes had finally stopped. The disappearances had ended. The terrifying sightings had ceased. Everything seemed normal again. Layla sat alone near the excavation site. She was the only survivor. No one believed her story. No one believed what had happened beneath the sands. And perhaps that was for the best. As the sun began setting, she placed a small photograph onto the desert ground. A photograph of Mustafa Jain, the man who had saved countless lives, the man history would never know. A warm desert breeze swept across the dunes. Then something strange happened. The sand near the photograph began glowing faintly. Just for a second. A soft golden glow. Layla smiled through her tears. Somewhere, somehow, Mustafa was at peace. But far beneath the desert, far below the deepest tombs, far below the ruins of forgotten kingdoms, a single pair of eyes slowly opened, ancient, patient, watching. And in the darkness, a whisper echoed. A whisper no living human heard. The story is not over.